Hello everybody, today I'm bringing you a mixed media scrapbook process using that quote which says, "Count your rainbows, not your thunderstorms," by Alyssa Knight. And I turned my camera on, but somehow it turned itself off, so I already have 3 of the colors down. What I'm trying to do here is, on my layout, I'm trying to replicate the progression of the colors on the art piece as well. So what I'm doing now is I've just pulled my Studio Calico Mr. Huey in Custard, which is an orangey color, kind of a goldy orangey color, and I'm putting that on the bottom. On the top left, the yellow is Taxi. These are all Studio Calico Mr. Huey mists, in case I forgot to tell you that. Top left is Taxi for the yellow, Leaf Green for the green, and Honor Society for the blue. And then I've just grabbed my real red to do the red color, which doesn't come out quite the way I thought. It actually comes out more orange than red. So I think if I ever did this again, I wouldn't spray any water on it and I'd go direct to paper there. So I am taking up some of that color just so it doesn't slop all over and that kind of thing as I was using the red. I don't do a lot of mixed media work. I think this is only like my second or maybe third mixed media layout. I use my mists more to sprinkle or to color wood veneers or mistable thickers, that kind of a thing. So I had a bad accident once where I dropped an applicator and it bounced and ended up all over the carpet in a previous scrap room, which was not a good thing at all. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I realized I was missing the navy and purpley colors, and so I grabbed my Mr. Huey in navy to put that down, and that did a really good job. That was a very intense color. So, and I keep wiping everything up and just making sure that I'm not cross-contaminating colors. I wanted them to be fairly pure. And so then I grabbed actually I grabbed the wrong color first. I think I grabbed First Kiss, and I really wanted Pretty Pink, which is what I have there, because the Pretty Pink is a little bit more of an intense color. And I just wanted a little there to try to get the purple color, which just didn't work all that well. What I should have done was use red, although the real red is the only red I have, and I was really afraid that it would do something weird and make things kind of orangey. So I'm going to end up with a little bit of purple at the top, but not much. It's really the pink is blending into the blue there, and you know what, I'm really fine with that. It is what it is. You see the progression of colors there. I really like it. Now I'm kind of checking with how I'm going to lay it and make sure, and I just tapped the art piece there because there's a little bit of like bluey purple color on it and at the side there, and I wanted to replicate that, especially since there's really not a lot of color on that right side, and I just thought it looked kind of funny. So I dabbed off quite a bit of it because I want the blue to be there, but I don't want it as bright as it is on the top because it's not bright in that art piece there. See that? And by dabbing things off, it's dried so fast on that watercolor paper that I actually have something leaning on it. What I'm doing here now is there's some pink splotches on it, and I want to replicate those going into onto the paper of my layout as well. And that's what I'm doing here. Before I forget, by the way, that quote and the piece, the idea, inspiration came to me from the Crafty Maven Getaway. I am on the design team there, and this quote and piece of art was an inspiration piece or a mood board piece from the week of April 3rd through 9th that Hannah gave us to work with. And I did do a layout using some of the colors in this. So everything is dry and everything is on there now. What I'm doing is I want to take a background behind this, and I'm trying out a couple different things. I thought it was going to be that diagonal stripe, but the more I looked at it, the more I actually liked the black polka dot with this. The diagonal stripe just felt like there was too much white in the stripes there. So what I've gone to do there is I'm going to go cut 3/4 of an inch off the paper, but I'm going to have to do it side to side because otherwise where my pencil marks that I made would show. Best way to explain that, because they're on there and I can't really erase all of them any longer. I am going to erase some of them, but I can't erase all of them. You kind of see on the bottom right there by the red, there is a pencil mark there that I will take care of. So I'm playing a little bit back and forth with the how I'm cutting that as I'm doing that, because I want a fairly decent reveal of the polka dots, and I'm not necessarily getting that. Okay, and that is almost, I've almost got it. There we go. I absolutely love this inspiration piece, and it just, what I ended up doing is I loved it so much, but I couldn't pull it just from the mood board that Hannah had given us. So I actually did a Google search on the quote, and then it came up. So what I did there is the 3 dots on the left almost looked like a face, the way they worked. So I actually put a 4th dot there so that it didn't look like a face. It just, that's one of those things that happens, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And maybe no one else saw that, but I did. And for some reason my ATG here was giving me a little bit of a hard time. So because it's not really all that badly buckled because I've used watercolor paper, but there is some buckling to it. So, and what I was doing there is I was pointing out where the pencil lines are so that you know, and I went to get my gum eraser so I could erase the pencil lines, but could not find it in the drawer until after I was all done, and there it was sitting there. So it was just one of those days. This is actually the next day. I did all the water, the misting and the the packaging technique the day before, let everything dry really well, although it was pretty dry by the time I was done. And then I came back the next day to finish this up. And it had gotten later in the evening when I was doing the watercolor, so I decided just to be done for the day. I think what I'm going to do with this now that it's done is I'm going to put it, I have a 12 by 12 shadow box frame that I put a layout in. Right now my one little word for the year, which happens to be joy, is in there, but I'm going to take that out and I think put this there for a while. I had a very tough last, about year and a half, not quite a year and a half now, and I'm starting to really feel like I'm coming out of it. And one of the things I'm going to talk about in my journaling is that for quite a while I couldn't even see a rainbow, much less count them. And now I'm starting to feel like I really can do that I can really count those rainbows. And that's what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to journal about that whole thing and about how much better I'm feeling now that I'm out of that tough place. So I think this will be, that shadow box frame sits right above my scrapbook desk. So if I look up, it's right there, which is one of the reasons I put my one little word there, because it's ever present then. But in this particular case, I think this will be a good reminder now, because I'm constantly trying to remind myself to count blessings. And I am really a positive person. It's just that the last 18 months or so have been very, very tough. So you'll see another layout or two where I do another layout called Strong with another quote. And there's a few things. I believe in scrapbooking the not so great stuff as well as good stuff. So enough about that. What I'm doing now is I went to my sequins stash, and I'm going to put sequins on the page that match the colors of the misting. So I'm kind of taking a look and trying to figure that all out. And I end up actually having enough things that I can do that. So that green I know is a Studio Calico, and so is the kind of goldy yellow or the orangey yellow on the custard on the bottom left. Everything else is really miscellaneous sequins that I didn't save the names or anything on those, so I can't tell you exactly what they are. And I'm trying to decide what to do because I want to do something on that yellow, but the custard is way too orangey. And all of a sudden I get the idea to, oh, I could do a gold sequin up there because I don't have a true yellow. So that actually works out pretty well. And I was very pleased because I have all the other colors. I had teal and blue and pink and some red. And I'm just playing. What I'm doing there at the bottom there is I added a third red sequin, and the reason that is because there was an even number down there or in that area, and it just didn't look right to me. So I decided I wanted to take those off. You know, just our eyes see things better in uneven numbers than even numbers. What I'm doing here is I grabbed my glue dots, micro dots. They're really, really small. They're perfect for enamel dots as well. And I'm just going to put those on the page. Sometimes I'll use my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive to adhere these down, but with the watercolor paper, I decided I really wanted to use the glue dots instead. And I ended up somehow with a couple of the dots on my hand. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm actually taking them off my hand to put them on the layout. Oh, the trials of being a scrapbooker. At least I didn't end up with them in other weird places. I know a lot of us around message boards, funny things will go on, like where we found letter stickers or stickers sticking. The funny stories and trials and tribulations. I am just about done sticking everything down here. I'm using my Cutter Bee tweezers, by the way, too. Just about done. Putting everything away, and I just pulling that in so you can see it a little bit better. There will be a still shot and a couple of close-ups. Hope you are all well. Bye!